and unfortunately one player ends today.
Yes, his career will be ended in the IPL 5. His IPL 5 career.
That's right, man.
IPL 5. Welcome to IPL 5 Cloud Kingdom.
All right, we're into the game. Game number 3. Down here, spawning as the Red Zerg. He is...
MVP Sniper.
Sponsored by Razer, as it seems. And also sponsored by Razer on the other side is the player from Korea in Team Liquid. Crawling back out of a hole, and now in the rubber match, it is...
Liquid TaeJa.
And the beauty that is StarCraft is the small details of adjustment throughout a series. So, you know, getting into map number 3 now, what is going to change? Are we going to see Sniper adjust his Mutalisk style? Is he going to go to Infestors on this map? Are we going to see TaeJa use some kind of blue flame attack? Is he going to try to surprise his opponent? And it seems like the crowd and fans are adjusting to the way that the maps go.
Suave betters always going to the one who won the last map. That's a good idea. So TaeJa has restored himself to nearly 60% belief ratio from the fans. Very quick drone scout once again from Sniper, which will ascertain that TaeJa is going for that command center first again. And you were talking about making adjustments in the game in a series like this. Very often we see adjustments in, for example, a PvP matchup where we're just seeing what your opponent is doing as a strategy, what strategy is favoring, and you adjust what you do to counter that. It's kind of like the rock, paper, scissors type of style. TaeJa and Sniper aren't really players that I feel like conform to those kind of expectations. They've been kind of doing their own thing. Especially TaeJa has become known very early on in doing very well in online leagues in Korea. He's this player that relies on his fundamentals, that is relying on just excellent micro spreading and decision making, but doesn't necessarily play incredibly crazily in the early game. So not at all surprised that he's going command center first. And if we have to believe his games by, most likely his psychology and his methodology is that he just goes into the next game and says, I want to play a little bit more perfect than I did last game. No major changes, not suddenly going for Thor Battlecruiser, but just, I don't want to make any mistakes this game.
And being a player, Grubby, correct me if I'm wrong, and facts shall prove me right, I hope, is that within your career, especially within Warcraft 3, as you were kind of known for losing map number 1, but winning map number 2 and 3 in a best of 3 here. So, for example, you know, TaeJa did lose map number 1. You feel that that will give him the strength to win this?
I don't know. I feel like TaeJa is, in a sense, way more, let's say, stable than I am. In the sense that, like, he will play very solidly every single game, never looking like terribly bad. Whereas I think I'm a bit more of an emotional, instinctive player, so I lose that first one and I'm like, ah, and I may not necessarily make sense in game 2, but boy, I sure do try. And maybe that's what's happening with me.
All right, so quite standard openings here as we start to develop this game with the command center now taking its place on the low ground. Double refinery behind that. The Overlord doesn't quite see it, but of course he knows that the command center first was down.
Kind of like a changeling supply depot.
Yeah.
Doesn't help TaeJa, and it's there masquerading as one of his own. Sniper doesn't like it anymore. No. He's missing an inject because he wants to kill the depot first.
Good pick up there. As we do see speed on the way. Again, only 1 in gas, so not a heavy investment to gas early on, so we are not going to be seeing any 2-base attacks from Sniper. They're ticking away with just 1 in gas, most likely here for now, will just lead towards extra queens, extra drones, and eventually what we'll see is the 3rd base come down. Double evolution chambers is the standard approach to the game, is where you save your gas towards, but as this series stands, that gas has been saved towards the layer, and we'll see if that repeats itself again.
Yeah, and of course you need that early speed links if you're not willing or expecting to be making a roach warren. So roaches, obviously, they don't cost a whole ton of gas, but the more roaches you make, the more gas you'll be spending. And Zergs who play by Dongregoo and Sniper's methodology, they like to save that gas for the Spire and the Mutalisk. So I would have liked to see TaeJa maybe try going for like double factory Hellions, since he knows that Sniper hasn't been making roaches. That's something that might work. But then again, there's always that new Zerg-style SimCity type of play, which will try to deny Hellions from gaining purchase into the natural or the main base.
And these Hellions are hidden for now, and they are going to make their way into vision. He's not going to hide them. So basically, the Hellions are relatively late in this game, but we do see double evolution chambers down this time around. I'm not sure if that's just for a wall-off or if he is intending to use them to upgrade. We are still unclear at the moment, as the layer is down at a decent time as the battle of the Hellions versus Lynx commences. But we can note that Stim is down relatively fast here, and there are quite a few Marines coming out because we do have a reactor on the barracks. So 2 Marines are produced at once. We could see a Hellion Marine Stim timing towards the 3rd, potentially if they're on or isn't a Bailey Nest down. And with this good control here, TaeJa is already starting to wear down the link count. So very interested to see if we do see a movement out. But with the Overlord on the natural, I suppose he'll see it so early on anyway. It may not make sense.
Yeah, of course, Terran can lift off a building to spot vision and try and kill that Overlord. But every building, of course, is being put to very good use by TaeJa. So that's certainly not something that comes without its due cost. And also that Link versus Hellion engagement in the early game is really very important. Imagine if he kills all the Links, he would go for that Stim Hellion timing attack. Whereas now, maybe he won't necessarily, because he does have a lot riding on the later game. He's already on double eBay and that 3rd command center once again. So that's the TaeJa, the TaeJa train.
Exactly, and if it didn't work, how would he take a 3rd base with minimal units because he's invested in upgrades and so on? So it makes perfect sense that he doesn't want to risk it. But one thing that we can notice within this game is Sniper for this time is changing his strategy. He's gone over to Infestor. So with double upgrades coming down, we will have a more traditional Zerg versus Terran game. The Infestors versus the Marine and tanks.
Now the good thing about TaeJa's style is he's not really guessing about what his opponent might be doing. He's not guessing and then making a huge, let's say, conjecture there, and is going to go for a special unit type which only works against what he thinks the opponent might be doing. He's just playing a very stable style, which can work either again.
Oh dearie me.
Wow. Anyway, Hellion's dead. That's really nice by Sniper. Nice pickup. But I mean, TaeJa, he'll go fairly well against either Mutalisk or Infestors. He's just playing his own style. For him, important just to note, he needs to scout that at some point, because he might be thinking about Mutalisk.
A lot of links are being made right now, as 2-2 should be starting, as 5 Infestors are on the way out, as Pathogen Glands nears completion.
Burrow as well, so we could be seeing some Burrow Infestor attacks, and losing those Hellions is gonna be quite painful if we see another surge of Banelings coming in here.
So as you mentioned at the start of the series, Sniper with a bunch of strategies to approach this matchup due to his training, but we are seeing some Banelings being morphed. We could see an assault towards this 3rd. Of course, it is a bit of a gamble from Sniper. We'll see how this is going to work out as Marines try to get out there to pick off this Overlord. He only escapes with 2 out of the 5, I think that was. But we are going to see movement towards this 3rd very shortly. 2-2 will start immediately as the armory finishes. A little bit mistimed there by TaeJa. Small little mistake. But there's a lot of units being made here. Sniper's moving towards this 3rd. His army position tells us one thing, that 3rd's going to get compromised very shortly if TaeJa doesn't mount the correct defense.
And those Banelings already have speed upgrade. The Infestors are going to come in. More Banelings are being morphed, but he's going to go already. He doesn't wait anymore.
3 tanks, though.
Oh, wow.
Sniper just immediately goes there. He was like, I don't know if I can go up there. And he immediately bores an Infestor. Is going to try this approach instead, as there is not a turret down. And the Infestors are going to launch Infestor Terrans. They will take the tank fire away from the Banelings and Link. So this could be a compromised area. Uh-oh, Sniper's about to break this down. He's going to try it anyway here. This is a very tense moment. Is he going to do it? He doesn't necessarily still need to, despite having that Infestor there, but with 34 more Lings on the way, TaeJa grows stronger by the second, remember, so the longer that Sniper doesn't go, the less likely he's going to, as the Hive has started.
Yeah, more and more tanks are getting into position, so not sure if Sniper still has that window of opportunity. He has enough drones. He's, like you said, he's not really committed to doing this, even though the Infestor
he's going to do it,
though! He's going to do it anyway!
I don't know if this is wise. The two supply depots there are funneling the units through. The tanks fall down. Marines at the back, they do not have combat shields this time either, and the Lings flood through. Is TaeJa going to be able to hold this line? The one tank remains. Infested Terrans as well. 30 Marines are being made, they are coming out. A fungal holds them in position for these Lings to bite away, and the third has to be evacuated. And a very, very patient, coordinated attack there by Sniper has broken the TaeJa line.
I think he forgot combat shield completely. This isn't the delayed combat shield. He should have started it a while ago, and that's hurting him to no end.
And he's still not researching it. As we see, the Hive is down. The Spire is also down as well
and
as
why
the
not
Ultralisk Cavern.
Well?
And Borrowed Lings. TaeJa's on the back foot in this game. There's Borrowed Lings preventing the wall off to be completed as well, which will require a scan, if not the turret to complete. And still no combat shield as 2-2 nears completion. Adrenal glands on the way as well. And Sniper going back to the same form we saw in game number 1, where he's looking to close this series up, and he's currently leading well in this game.
Yeah, 79 drones, getting all the tech, everything he could possibly want, all the upgrades, and probably when the Spire finishes, he'll be looking to make it into a greater Spire. Maybe he'll make both tier 3 units, or he'll just start with one and then transition to the other. I don't know with which one he's going to start, probably Ultralisk. But it's really anyone's guess here. Sniper also making another base there in the bottom right. It's looking so great for him. And as TaeJa finally finds out he did not have combat shield yet, he's starting it now, which means he cannot get active yet in the next minute or so. And that's going to give Sniper the time to get Ultralisk out. That
will, as TaeJa will be able to get to that 5th base with those Marines. He does force a cancel. And TaeJa, if anybody I've seen play throughout 2012, is a player of comebacks, especially in a tight, close game like this. So if anybody can do it, it's going to be Liquid TaeJa, as 5 Ultra is going to be fully upgraded soon. Going to be very, very deadly, as well as the greatest Spire on its way.
TaeJa definitely can come back from disadvantageous positions to do some excellent micro and come back. One of the most memorable games of TaeJa is against that Protoss on Antigua Shipyard. He was down like half supply and he won the fight somehow. I think it was IGNProLeague, I'm not 100% sure. It was in MLG, it was very, very amazing. But anyway, it's going to be a little bit harder here, as it's extremely difficult to micro against 66 Zerglings, 5 Ultralisks, 13 Banelings, and 6 Infestors.
6 Infestors could have up to 12 Fungals available, depending on how much energy they each have. But TaeJa's going to put himself on the higher ground, as we see the upgrade's not quite complete here for Sniper. So TaeJa's going to set up position. He's got a good spread. Can this be the moment, or is Sniper going to be able to close this series up? There are a lot of Banelings, a lot of Lings, and more Ultralisks come through. And TaeJa's fighting for everything he's worth, but Sniper remains the stronger opponent in this game, even trapping the Medivacs as they try to escape. And it looks like Sniper is nearing completion of this best of 3.
The crowd goes wild as they feel like victory is within Sniper's grasp. Sniper is launching the counterattack. There's one tank on the high ground, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The Marauders and Marines are taking down Ultralisk on the right side there.
The SCVs get obliterated on that 3rd base. And as we see, 3-3 is near completion for both players. But it doesn't matter. I think the fight has already been decided in favor of Sniper, as he's on the back foot. TaeJa, that is down to 95 supply, 185 for Sniper, who claims, or is almost there in claiming victory. But TaeJa holds the front on the natural, but holding his natural means that his opponent, as you can see on the minimap, has rapid expansions popping up left and right. And in the production tab, the greatest Spire is going to come into fact here. And that's something that with limited amount of resources, I fear TaeJa may not be able to deal with.
Yeah, certainly not. The Ultralists are enough of a headache, and if the Ultralists are a headache, how would 7 additional Broodlords rank? It's certainly very, very bad situation for TaeJa. Still that tank there on the high ground, shelling with impunity at the units down there, but TaeJa is barely mining.
Well, a couple of those units do fall down. TaeJa drops here with limited amount of units. He says, well, I've got to do something in this game. I can't just allow him to keep on expanding. So he destroys and slaughters every single one of those drones and is headed towards killing the hatchery as well. The Broodlord's being morphed in an aggressive stance towards TaeJa's base. The hatchery is going to fall.
Nice.
TaeJa brings down this one win out of many that TaeJa still has to go through.
Yeah, a small little moral victory by him there, killing drones and a hatch. It's certainly something that he needs to do and try and come back into this game. Gotta commend him for his tenacity, as he's now gonna drop the Marines on the high ground. I don't think there's vision necessarily, so he can shoot at those spines without getting fired back. But here come in the Broodlords. There are no Vikings on the field whatsoever. Even Marauders still being produced. The big problem now is the Broodlords. Nice snipe on those Infestors. Excellent micro by TaeJa, but well, is it going to be enough?
I don't think it's going to be enough. MVP Snipers played a great series here from Game 1 to Game 3. GG is called. And MVP Sniper remains in this tournament and lives another day, lives another game to fight before you. And what a preview that was of to come this evening, as he will be playing in the Code S round of 4 tonight.
Yeah, tonight at 6 p.m. we've got the GSL starting on our very home ground here in Las Vegas in the United States. So cool to see the GSL come here. And of course, guys, keep in mind, in 18 minutes from now at the sponsor pavilion, there will be a fan signing